Good morning, luminous souls, beautiful beings of light, quite frankly, divinity in the flesh. That's all. That's all. You're the all in the all. Yeah, you're the everything in the everything. And your nature is infinite. There's been no beginning, really, and there's no end. This is a forever, my dears. So whatever it is that you are experiencing in this time frame of this incarnation of this life, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back because you're doing an excellent job to have the understanding and the awareness to even be sitting here right now or be seeking something that is something good for the soul, let's put it. Good for that, good for the attitude, good for the for the nervous system, and good for your partners, your wives and husbands, and good for your friends, and good for our world, and good for our planet, and good for Mother Gaia. You know, really, it's something else. And the more that we see, as someone said, this isn't a collapse that we're seeing in the old systems as much as it is an exposure. It's an exposure. Yeah. Everything that is not aligned in the, that is the higher frequencies, the higher vibrations, is being exposed, 100%ly exposed. And I got to see now what has happened to my channel. Um, if I, let's see, Zoom. Are we Zooming, my dears, or no? I don't think I see you, so I'm going to do something.
I can see you, Tom.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see.
It is showing on my side that your signal
Oh,
is weak.
come on, come on, come on. iPhone. Let's go, baby. Let's see what's happening. What's that buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's that buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's that buzz? Tell me what's happening, my dears. Should I go to Zoom? Should we start over? Let's see. Let's go. Let's go, my dears. We had it rolling, didn't we? Just in case the audio is still on, you can at least hear my voice. Yippers. All right. Let's see who's still hanging on here. I don't know what happened, but I had to completely reboot the Zoom link, my dears. And I was silently praying that all of you stayed on the line because there's just so many good things to share this morning that could really make an impact for us. So I'm glad to have you back. Thank you for your patience with all of this, and thank you for the hanging in there with the technology the way it is. But I think you heard me in the beginning saying that we are in this position because we've earned every bit of it. We are so blessed to be on a planet that is getting, not just collapse the old systems because how are you going to go into a higher age if you're still in the old age, right? So this is not so much about collapsing as it is about exposure. And I think that this is so good because whatever we have hidden, all of us have stuff, I used to call them DDS's, deep dark secrets, are going to be exposed. And if we can do that work silently within ourselves, it'd be a lot easier on the nervous system, I think, that we just get in there and look into the flawless mirror and see if we are, more human as those two, the golden retriever and the bulldog who have that little paw cast, right? They call us humans. Us humans might find it a little easier to deal with those things that we have hidden that need to be exposed. So the best way that I've learned from Paramahansa Yogananda is to expose those things not to a person, not to a therapist, but you choose what you want to do, but to the God in you, to your relationship with God, because that's the only one that's really going to get you and really loves you and ain't going to judge you and it's going to be there for you no matter rain or shine, my dears. So let's just uncover that need like, oh thou blue sky, oh thou blue sky, under blue cover hast thou hidden my beloved Lord, is one of Master's chants. So we're all going to have to uncover those things that no longer serve us, that no longer can help the collective go up a little higher rather than down and out and really, in the dark side of things, and up, 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 up we go. So, Cami, welcome, my dears. And I have a little reading from Pema. If in doubt, check with Pema Chodron because she's quite a seer, someone who really sees. You know the difference between seers and those who can just do the talk. Maybe not have a good walk the talk is so much, but do the talk. No, Pema is the one that is is the seer, in my opinion. She's one of them. But this is what she says, my dears. She says times are difficult globally. Yeah, you might go, duh. Awakening is no longer a luxury or an idea. So I mentioned in the Gita this morning that all my life, ever since I started the spiritual path, which was in 1968, so I was 18 years old. And but anyway, I've been tooting my horn as to come on, people, wake the bleep up. You know, being in an entitled country where a lot of things, a lot of gifts that a lot of people don't have, or whatever, and that we have, overdid it. We overdid it. We all got lost. We all got hypnotized by the collective and the systems and things like that. So she's saying that is over. And I used to say it in yoga class. People, wake the bleep up. Wake the bleep up. Every class, every one of my classes for 20 years, I would talk about the same thing. So here we are, and she's saying that times are difficult globally. Awakening is no longer a luxury or an ideal. It's becoming critical. Have you reached critical mass? Have you reached that critical point where you can absolutely let go of all your thoughts about this world and tune into the love of God, to the love of your soul, to the love of love? Are you feeling that that could be a possibility for you? Because that's the theme of our stream this morning, is that why would the Gita say, seek refuge in your soul, Arjuna, make that your heaven? Because the Gita talks about the duality dream delusion throughout. Their whole system over there in India talks about the delusion, the Maya is another word for it, illusion. And why would we foolishly keep on focusing on the illusion when you know better? So we're at that kind of that point where we're hovering between two dimensions or two worlds or two consciousnesses, right? One was where we kind of pay attention to what's happening globally because we as humans, feel we have a duty to know what's going on. We want to be prepared, but the best preparation is to, as Yogananda says, stop watching the toy show of your world. And now Pema Chodron is saying this is to seek the truth, to seek the higher consciousness is not just an ideal, it's not a luxury. It is critical. It is critical. So I'm just asking you if you are ready to be absolutely, there's no other option for you. Out of options, my dears. Out of all the luxuries and all the playthings and all the whatever else you thought about this world, and let it go. Let it go for a little while and see if you like being more in your soul self than you are in the worldly consciousness. Let's just see how we do with that. All right. We don't need to add, she goes on to say, more depression, more discouragement, or more anger to what's already here. It's becoming essential. It's becoming essential that we learn how to relate sanely. How can we relate sanely with these difficult times? Ask yourself. How can I relate sanely in these difficult times? Each of us will have a different answer, I'm sure, you know. But I think they'll all be trending in the same direction. I think that we all know that the spiritual side of us, that soul part of us, that divine consciousness that we already possess as children of the light, right? That's our go-to place, right? So I think the question for all of us today is, how much do you want to live in that place today, just today, one day at a time, and see what you can do to hold steady to the truth of you. We've talked about the sovereign authority over yourself recently. We've talked about taking, charge of yourself, go direct to God, just you and God, and take it from there rather than, take that the roundabout way, right? Which is to still kind of hover in both worlds. That's a tough way to go. But whatever you decide to do, my dears, I think it's going to unravel for us all. It's going to unfold for us all. It's going to be exposed to us all. And then it's going to be a no-brainer for even the kind of the sleepwalkers on the planet. I think there's a there's a good chance that most of us will wake up enough to bring even more light to those who are right on the verge, right on the brink of deciding that, you know what, we've been used. Yeah, we've been given a bill of goods, my dears, and now we're going to find out the real ticket to ride. We're going to experience for ourselves why we are really here, and it's going to be profound when you decide that your love, your love for truth, your love for collective unity, and 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 uh, and divine compassion and all those things is the total way to go about the rest of our days. So let me finish up with Emma. I almost had her here, but then she disappeared as I was talking. Let me see. Let's see it. Let's finish up with Pema. She says, the earth seems to be beseeching us. Mother Gaia is beseeching us, my dears. Wow. To connect with joy. To connect with joy. As I said in the Gita this morning, your key to happiness is three things: letting go of what was, enjoying what is, and having faith in what will be. That's it. Just a couple of things. The Buddhists say the same thing. Everybody who's on a spiritual quest is going to get zoomed in, my dears. Zoomed in. They're going to get locked on to their spiritual practices because they've been practicing. because they have been creating within themselves this relationship to the divine beloved, to source, whatever words you want to use, to the cosmic mother, to Lord Christ, to Lord Krishna, doesn't matter. But they've been developing this divine romance. And that is getting to be very, very filled with, wow, a joy. It gets filled with joy, my dears, when you realize you are on the right track. You're not going down a dead end anymore. You're not going to waste your time anymore. We have a divine mission. So the earth seems to be beseeching us to connect with joy and discover and discover. Open thy cover, let me discover my beloved Lord in thy heart of hearts. Yeah, so that we can discover our innermost essence. Go straight to your source. Go straight to that heart, the divine sacred heart in you. Go straight to what makes you feel fantastic, not just good, but fantastic. And I think that comes when you have your mind on the divine and less and less and less on the social media and things like that, because it's going to get bizarre, if not already. So she wants us to work at getting into our innermost essence, to discover our innermost essence. This is the best way that we can benefit ourselves, benefit others, and benefit our world. That we get into our innermost essence, like anchored, anchored in that which is changeless, says Lord Krishna. Anchored in that which is changeless. Wow. I'm telling you, my dears, yeah. And if if you are a social media, you're just going to see one thing after another that's talking about this outward situation, right? But that's where we have to decide for ourselves. What's it going to be? At some point, I love this idea that there is complete surrender. That your feel good is so good, it's so good. Your peace, your quietude, all those things that come. You're just focusing on those things that bring you joy and bring you light. And everyone will have a different approach to that. But it's going to be so interesting to see us become, you know, that sovereignty of ourselves, where we are anchored in that which is changeless. We're anchored in that which is true and not the duality, dream, delusion so much. Just a little, just a little bit at a time. Just a little bit at a time, my dears. That's all that Lord is requesting of us. But the most important thing is, in the meantime, they say the secret of patience is to have something better to do in the meantime. And so while we have patience in watching the exposures all happen across the globe and witnessing the so-called changes, whatever they're going to be, we'll have faith that God's got that covered for us, that we are going to, be loving. Yeah, the secret of patience is to have something better to do in the meantime. How about loving, my dears? How about loving the loved? It's a reciprocation. It's not a one-way street. God isn't demanding you to love him. He's leaving it up to you, because he knows that when it's up to you, then you're giving your heart. And you're giving your heart and soul to the matter. And that's not a bad idea, because, we don't have, who knows how long we have to be in these bodies. So are we going to make a fiasco out of it? Or are we going to make it kind of like a little Garden of Eden? Or like the greatest spiritual adventure of our forever, awakening, right? Awakening, where you go, oh, the aha on a regular basis, my dears, feeling so terrific that your whole system changes. and your attitude changes and the way you see people, especially your loved ones. We have to take care of the home. Mother Teresa was so big on that. She said the greatest poverty is not in these three uh, third world countries. They're in the U.S. that we take so much for granted. So that's Pema's little thing, and I have a little something. It's a message from 12 masters, but it doesn't say which masters, but it doesn't matter because you guys will get the frequency. This is a message from 12 masters. We speak as one current of wisdom, not as separate forms, but as unified awareness. At this time on earth, the field is intensifying. So they're going to tell us the same thing here. What is unstable will continue to surface. We say it's going to be exposed. What is misaligned will reveal itself. This is not a collapse, my dears, but exposure. Exposure precedes recalibration. Exposure. You are witnessing endings of structures that were sustained by fear. We have no idea how we've been tricked. But don't take that personally because that's what the Maya does. What do you think illusion is? It's a trickster. So we've been tricked. We've been fooled, completely fooled. That's why it's taken us a little while to get our act together, so to speak. The field's intensifying. What is unstable will continue to surface. What is misaligned will reveal itself. This is not collapse, but exposure, and exposure precedes a recalibration. You are witnessing endings of structures that were sustained by fear. So, in some ways, welcome to the new age, my dears. Welcome to the new age. To the new age. Welcome to the new age. Welcome to the new age, my dears. Look at it that way. Let's greet the higher consciousness like we've just been, in a desert for so long, and we just found an oasis, and we're just drinking. We're filled with prana again. Let's maybe approach it that way. So what we were sustained by fear, control, and separation. These dissolutions are necessary to make visible what has long operated beneath the surface. Yeah. Welcome to the new age, my dear. Welcome to the new age. We've all been tricked. So don't let that bother us anymore. Now we know the lights are on. The game is on. These dissolutions are necessary to make visible what has long operated beneath the surface. Do not interpret turbulence as failure of the light. We live in the light. We're light workers. We're the light holders. We're here to hold the light during all this. We're here to be anchored in ourselves during all of this. Not to let ourselves get carried away again in another lifetime. Like there's too many of those. All right? Do not interpret turbulence as failure of the light. Turbulence is friction between old architecture and emerging consciousness. Turbulence, get a load of it, is friction between old architecture, our old way of going about things, and emerging consciousness. Wouldn't you rather invite emerging consciousness more and more into your everyday as you walk, as you do simple things, as you clean, whatever, that you are in a welcoming consciousness rather than in a turbulence, which is friction between the old way of doing things and then the emerging consciousness? I would say let's choose the emerging consciousness. Collectively, these 12 masters go on to say humanity stands in a threshold space. Right, Ricardo? The old systems cannot fully hold, and the new systems are not yet fully formed. This in-between state can feel disorienting. So ground in discernment rather than reaction. Ground in discernment, in your wisdom, rather than reaction. The current energy themes are clarity over illusion. So if we've been duped, is that a way to say it? If we've been duped, there's no reason to continue fooling ourselves. If there's been a great delusion, all right, we'll take that. We'll take our hits on that. But why keep fooling yourself? That's kind of the thing that we all can ask for some divine grace and some help with, I'm sure. This in-between state can feel disoriented. Ground in discernment rather than reaction. Clarity, clarity. Be clear, my dear. Be super. Go to that flawless mirror and look in and look into your eyes and see what a true blue you are. See how loyal you are to love. See how loyal you are to the teachings that have brought you a lot of spiritual reprieve, as a matter of fact, right? Yeah. Look in that flawless mirror, my dears. So we have clarity over illusion, sovereignty over dependency. So we've relied on what? Yeah. We've relied on who knows? Yeah, well, you know. Only you know. Only God knows, actually. Integrity over performance. So who cares about performance? Who cares what you've accomplished? If you're not in integrity, what good is it? And embodiment, embody the joy over abstraction, because you won't be abstracted. You won't be distracted either. If you're embodied in the joy of your soul, in the joy of this new beginning, of this new age, wow, you are asked, my dears, to stabilize your inner axis. Wow, do you get that, Mary? You are asked to stabilize your inner axis. Stabilize your inner axis. I would say that's your spine, that's your character, that's your essence. Stabilize your inner axis. External events will continue to fluctuate. Oh, yeah. The work now is not to control outcomes, but to maintain. Yeah, here's what we're talking about. These 12 masters are right on, I think. We're asked to stabilize our inner axis. External events will continue to fluctuate. Our work now is not to control outcomes, but to maintain coherence within your own field. And that's something that you've got to learn to believe, and not just believe and then leave it, but to totally realize the absolute truth of it. That our coherence within is doing the greatest good for our planet in this war. Our coherence within, our choosing to stay in that joy place, to stay in that love, unconditional love place. Yeah, it really is. Check it out. This is our message this morning. Check it out. It's not an ideal now. It's not a luxury that we can, do our little spiritual life, whatever. It's critical. It's critical. It's critical, my dears. Wow. War, this goes on to say, conflict and unrest amplify polarization. But listen, yet polarization also accelerates revelation. So again, the exposures. So we're not fooled anymore, right? And then we got to work on ourselves continuously, because we're the ones that fool the most, probably, right? Fool ourselves the most. Polarization accelerates revelation. Hidden motives surface. Collective shadows become visible. Collective shadows become visible. This is part of integration, my dears. What rises can be seen. What is seen can be addressed. That's exactly what's happening. So then it says, do not outsource your authority. Do not outsource. Insource, insourced, not outsourced. Your authority to voices that amplify fear. Information is abundant. So it's really important to have peace at home. So one of us might be hanging on to the news a little too much, or the other one. Let's have mercy. Let's have mercy on ourselves. You know, you don't have to hold on. You don't have to be the last of the Mohegans. You don't have to say this is my core when it's not true. What's your core? It's God. It's bliss. It's joy. It's happiness. It's compassion. It's understanding, right? It's harmony. It's harmony, my dears. So information is abundant. Wisdom is selective. Choose carefully what you internalize. The frequency available now supports. So here's the good stuff. Reclaiming personal power. We have no idea how powerful we are if we keep letting ourselves down. And letting ourselves down is losing trust in ourselves. And once you lose trust, it is a hard road, steep up a mountain. Just, straight up. So this is part of integration. What rises can be seen. What is seen can be addressed. So do not outsource your authority to voices that amplify fear. Information is abundant. Wisdom is selective. Choose carefully what you internalize. The frequency available now supports, okay, here we go. Reclaiming personal power. Dissolving outdated identity structures. We're all outdated. We're outdated right now because this minute has gone by. Now we're in a new way, in a new age, in this moment. So we're reclaiming personal power, dissolving outdated identity structures, strengthening intuitive discernment, aligning action with inner truth. Wow, look at this new world. Look at this new world we're co-creating, my dears. Look at this new us. Aren't you happy that you're making some changes? Wow. Aren't you happy for that? Only focus on the good, my dears. Only focus on the littlest, tiniest things that are good, and then the bigger things will come. So each individual who stabilizes in coherence contributes to the recalibration of the whole. Who stabilizes in coherence. That means we got to make a continuous choice now. It's that essence part of us, the light part of us, that compassion part of us, that understanding part of us, that love part of us, or is it still much of the same? It's quite crystal clear, right? So each individual stabilizes in coherence. This is what we're being called for, because we are light workers. We're the holders of the light, my dears. Each individual stabilizes in coherence, contributes to the recalibration of the whole. Collective change does not begin in institutions. It begins in nervous systems, in daily choices, in relational integrity. You are not required to carry the world, my dears. You are required to embody alignment within your sphere, your home, those around you, in your circle of influence. You are not required to carry the world. You're required to embody alignment within your sphere. This cycle is not an ending of humanity. It is the ending, here it is, of unconscious participation. So we participated. We added to this. We created this, all of us, what's happening in our world. And you could say that much of it was unconscious participation, or just ego-centered, greedy participation. Or I want it, it's for me, my mind, participation. So this cycle is not the ending of humanity, it's the ending of unconscious participation, my dear. Steady as we go, stand steady, observe clearly, act with precision. So you are crystal clear on what your motive is right here and now. Crystal clear. No more fooling. Enough already. No more foolishness and fooling and trickery. No more unconscious participation. Stand steady, observe clearly, act with precision. The path forward is not a reaction, it is conscious construction. So this ends by saying, at this time of transformation, clarity over illusion, sovereignty over dependence, integrity over performance, embodiment over abstraction. Hold your inner light, anchor in your truth. Do not be swayed by fear. See beyond the shadows. You are the stabilizers. You are the creators. This is a time of revelation, a time of recalibration. All right. I went over a tad bit, but we had a little technical difficulty, didn't we? But thank you. Thank you for jumping back on, Lori. Oh, my goodness sakes. And Kathleen and Tammy, Lori, Mary, Ricardo. Let's inhale the breath and let this Om be heard around the world. Oh. Hey, in this way, the next one, let's do an Om to soothe and smooth out everyone's nervous systems because, OMG, they're probably going up and down and inside and out and worry and fear. And now what? Let's just do this Om so everyone has a really balanced nervous system. Inhale. Om. All right, my dears. And let's put our God glasses, if not on, but let's really see today. Make sure you look in that flawless mirror and only see that essence of you, that God spark, that smile of the divine lover. The unconditional lover loves you as you look into that mirror. And all it sees is the love that you have for it and the love you have for everyone and everything everywhere. So we love, we care. So we'll just bring our arms around all those who will be going through what they need to go through because it's their path. But let's make sure that we have charge, complete authority, sovereignty over ours. So we care. And then let's be lighthouses, my dears. Just your frequency, you know. You have no idea how much impact you have. And really, really, my dears, I swear, the divine is so empathetic and it's so amazing that even the littlest effort we make turns into a big win for our world and a bigger win for you and me. That's how merciful the divine mercy is. All right. So good job. Thanks for hanging in there, even though we got cut off. But let's go. Let's ride. It's the year of the horse. Aho. Giddy up. Giddy up. Much love, everybody. Charge. Let's ride. Nice. Now, I put this, I see Ricardo might have something to say, but I'm just going to turn my audio on in case there is somebody that has uh, something to say. Are you doing okay, Ricardo, with everything in your life? You're doing all right? Kathleen, you're doing okay? Nice. Nice. Well,
I
you're
want to say thank you. I really get a lot from you. I know I don't make it every day to your meditations, but I do watch your videos on YouTube, so I have been following along. And I had a situation happen yesterday that somebody kind of made the remark to me that I've been distancing myself and wanted to know if I was okay. And I was like, wow, if you take the time to ask me, I've had a lot of personal things going on that I've had to put my focus on. Then you would know, but you haven't taken the time to ask. And instead of snapping back, I was just like, wow, and just left it. Just,
Wow.
left it alone, didn't do a snapback, didn't say anything. I just gave him a wow and left it alone.
Woo!
So I'm learning from you and I'm working it in my life. And I'm getting chills as I'm telling you this too, because it's I really have enjoyed. So
Oh,
thank you.
well, I got a little bit of the buzz from you just sharing that. Thank you so much. That's huge. This is what we're talking about. It's the
Mhm.
little things, the divine's in the little things, in the details. The divine is joy is in the details, my dears. Good job. Good job. Good one. We're talking about,
Thanks, Tom.
hey, brother, you good? All right. Much love to everybody. Let's ride.